a vision, but never tell you how you're going to get there. And there's a reason why. Because your vision is a glimpse of your end. Between the end and where you are is called the plan. The plan is the process that takes you to your destination. God will tell you your end. Like he showed Joseph. He showed Joseph the throne. He's sitting on the throne, ruling, feeding his brothers. That's the end. God showed you your end. He showed each one of you your end. Everybody got a dream. But he never tells you the plan. Why? Because if he ever told you the plan, you would tell him, forget the destination. Because the plan is to prepare you for the destination. So he takes you to all these different chains to develop you. If Joseph knew that he had to go through a pit and prison to get to that throne, he'd tell God, forget the throne. Right. So your plan is secret to God. Right now where you are may not be where you want to be, but it's a part of the plan. If you lost your house or you lost your spouse or a baby died, don't panic. It's all part of the process. God's working on character development, patience development, vision development. He's preparing you for what he has prepared for you. And so you need to appreciate that even your mistakes, he says, he'll conform them to fulfill the purpose. God will show you.
What? They have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And the word of their testimony, okay? When we reflect and we remember what God has done, that leaves no room for confusion. It leaves no room for the devil to come in and whisper lies in our ears and try to make us feel less than and try to remember, oh my gosh, like I'm a sinful person. I did this and I've done that. No. When we remember, when we share our testimony and talk about what God has done, we are reminded of the truth and we are reminded that we are made new and redeemed. And we can stand in confidence in that.
You don't say everything you see. A fool says that. A fool shares everything in their heart that God says to them. It reminds you of Joseph, not that I'm calling him a fool. However, he just uttered the things that the dreams, and oh my God, jealousy hit everywhere. It got him in a pit. But there was purpose in the pit. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, there was purpose in the pit. But it was actually because he didn't have the wisdom. He just was so excited. He thought his brothers was going to be all excited. God showed me this. And oh my God. Later he learned, oh my God. To the point they almost wanted to kill him. They left him for dead. Yeah. You don't say everything you see.
The value of feeling is going to become the human's highest commodity. Because thinking, you'll be tricked by your mind. You'll be tricked by your brain. You'll be tricked by what you see and what you hear. Patriarchal systems, we value thinking more than we value feeling. Your thinking is already superseded, surpassed by AI. What I highly suggest the majority start to focus on is what they feel, because the human emotion is actually one of our biggest assets. One of the ways we create this world, we talk about focus and energy, is the power of emotion, because emotion is energy in motion. When we are experiencing elevated emotions, we open up our portal to create. When I say portal, it's like one way of things, like the energy you are sending out and receiving. So emotion is the human's greatest asset in creation. But not only in creation, our ability to feel will help us better discern what is real. That is going to be the biggest, craziest, mind-blowing, altering aspect of our lives moving forward, is what is real. The value.
You've been thinking that people don't like you. It's not that they don't like you. They don't like the anointing that's on you. Your anointing makes them uncomfortable. And the reason they can't relax when you come into the room
things that are wrong with people. You're afraid that things will not happen the way that you want them to happen, and you're afraid that things
And every time that wind blows, I fell for the thought that this is all for the caught up that you're forgetting to say, guard. Let the guard down, run around with no shit. What if they found out these hiding hands, feelings anymore? For the splash off, for this emptiness, and you can carry on for the latter for the days that you desire. Cue the view paying dues. A reckless thoughts and act through me for the tossing around like I'm in the sea. Wishing for a second, for me to be freed until I come to the realization for this is splashing in me. Why haven't I always bloomed for this to be happy to never adopt this seasons of the beast and never to mark that aberration for the orbitals and the line for your Neptune for your everlasting divinity for the planetary or polarity. Seasons of the lust of beast, this find at least to come for the open pressure for the fury, fishers but never the either that for the pulling and the gathers into your gravity for the desire and the delicate aura or her aura for the core and over the mass suggestion for the biting of the tongue for the holding of the breath for the deliverance of the reserving of the God. Add to that inception for the witness and the energy for the works behind it that seems to the universe as a whole. Taken away for the end to the cold, the dead night for the reality for the steaming your consciousness for your membranes and no more to contain for this open in the nature for your bring back your texture for this is a quote I mean for the me and you for the me and double me for the hope of the universe the curve of the pencil. And appear for the indistinct, for this the other to define with the thing for the many without a destiny for the other with the purpose and never have that for the exist that for the existence for the text if you can tap the textbook back for this text more than universe and you can converse to me. Found it that you opened it for that you can live for the eternally. That clearing and the God of the universe, the flame for the burning and the verse and never to find the wind that takes them away. Or if you ever could imagine the figment your imagination I get to them no matter what happens I like to be good to people you can have the wonderful legacy we left behind or universal inclusion for what's guaranteed. What might expect that for the living of the one states and not the often tonight for this to find a neglect for the calming and the releasing and the observing in the sky for this is no I know for the never to know why or sloping down for this is downward for the enough for the caution everywhere for the tending for the memories and the rapid decay or don't trip over things while I'm looking down for the tie the shoelaces and for the bright enough for the streaking go quietly around like a ninja. My eyes are not looking therefore don't see the attention for the diverter for the looking only at me for the life of the giving off of the moments and I can bend the mist and this spread out overhead and overhead and over the gently kiss the eyes of those overlooking for the left of the resident for the never the find the rising for the definitely new. It was my gazing one day. It was a time to restart for the brilliant enough of the white light illuminating in the tree for the blowing and glowing over your ball of silver hovering over me like a halo for that you can find the freezing of the disbelief of the life of the altars of you. Squinting in my eyes just down the view for this dimming enough of the see clarity for this to come around with the shimmering of the ways of life of the radiating all around for the figures appear tall enough for the silver the similar for the wave for the sea for this is superior and enough of the both for the deuce to be the voice of the head and ivory pot crazy as a sound. My thoughts were kind of loud enough to relax and be calm enough for the reaction every surprise enough for the told myself for the relaxed distance sparkling through your eyes into a distant planet. Like I'm looking up at the sky, view for the lands, the trees, to feed, to find the ocean creatures, great, small enough for the ground, the green, to fertile enough for the waters, so running clear, there's no sign of pollution. Abundant clean air, breathe, take a distant noticing of the lack of people for the message relay for the planets, to the humans, to the restart again for the explaining over your earth, and this assuming come for the inhabitable, with the thriving, they're down with the perish in the storm. For the eyes, thought this is the thought for that, the red answers for the new vision, for the eyes, a dark planet, for the 10 times the earth size, this is due to the returning of the new earth, for this is a realign, calls that great storm for the earthquake with the redefine. This is the vision, where was the infant, the living in the earth, for this is the tell me, for the who can I do to help with this answer me, the calm voice, this inviting me to join, the drive for the recall, and never the what you can say that leads to the continuum of the experiment, for the humankind, for the hybrid, for the origin that came from us to the humanoid, for creations are eye open, your ain't just a happy came to that for this. To the greater for the ever the mission in life, for the fall for the ever the repopulating your planet, for the graphic created for you for this wish when I was taking enough of the cross of space. You and your telescope get out. Not enough space for the earth for this to be the paradise, and what was lost and now the out of nowhere for the beautiful woman appears. You could say that, but expected me for the error, and her name was Eve or Lilith. And you could say the butterfly, the butterfly, the moment to be trapped and never to find a cocoon for the what's next to them with the blame. No fear, shame, but the away. But illusion, but the tell what you say for the far from me, for the never the one to lose that. You can find what's to say. The friends, no matter for the half times you say it, if it's your turn. Wish I had courage enough to you took, but you decided to move on for your lantern. Just let it go down the river. God's gift, no matter what happens to good people, you can find for the wonderful legacy left behind. That I can find what's. And I play like the I can break a leg before you leave the tree, set in the garden.
For the rise of the tippers that will make the flood, and the Noah to arc the day for the agape love, and the promise not to punish the world for the terror, for what they make for the saying, and the never the time that was good for the wickedness and the mess that the wicker that will make the flames of the eternal torment. To the hell, what else would you make this fine and baking the sail over the stale, stagnant ink? Conclusion for the ignorant protest of the repeating of the repentance and the sentence of the time cells that will break, like escaping prison, like Paul the apostle for the make. Apologies for the deny me 3 times in one day. Deny the day reborn for the purge of the rebuke. Rebuttals for the washing of the sins away for the rump. Make you new again like a new. The old you again for the not what I choose. You chose you for the will for the that I make. Of you for the will you follow the footprints of the sand and I carried you. And this is the now for the rise of the tippers that will make the flood. Of the Noah to arc the day for the agape love.
This is now for the rise of the tippers that will make the flood, and the Noah to arc the day for the agape love, and the promise not to punish the world for the terror for what they make for the saying. And this is now for the rise of the tippers that will make the flood, and the Noah to arc the day for the agape love, and the promise not to punish the world for the terror for what they make for the saying, and never the time that was good for the wickedness and the mess that the wicker that will make the flames of eternal torment. The hell, what else would you make this finally baking the sail over the stale, stagnant ink? Conclusion for the ignorant protest of the repeating of the repentance and the sentence of the time cells that will break, like escaping prison, like Paul the apostle for the make. Apologies for the deny me 3 times in one day. Deny the day reborn for the purge of the rebuke. Rebuttals of the washing of the sins away for the rump. Make you new again like a new. The old you again for the not what I choose. And you chose you for the will for the that I make. Of you for the will you followed the footprints of the sand and I carried you. On the beach of the sandals of your feet that were measurements. Whenever the sand with the measure was meant, that it would take the carpenters to put their foot down, like carpet cleaners of the redundancy for the oxymoron for the Clorox the cleaner, than the purification of an everlasting water for the hydration to replenish your hypocrisy. Ridicule or ridiculous. Ratification for the significant, contraction for the different that can, or signal for the significant. And could if you would do not break the wood up with the candle over the fire that will make the lighten up the world for the darkness and illuminate for the illumination for your cursing Illuminati's and for the elite. Lead to Satan off for this earth for to make you fake your truth for the that. Dead wake, the wakened funeral for the sleeping state for the sheep for the shepherds to know the voice of the gospel for the apostle for the apostrophe for the catastrophic. Or never the not for the apology. It was an app that you applied for the state of awareness, for the age of information, for the lack of enlightenment, the knowing that the light was inside of you, whenever you can create the mind of a matter for the situation. You can sit on it for assets. You stand up for what you believe in, or not need to believe, and never to be a fraud for the tree don't fall far for the fruit don't fall far from the tree, for never you can understand the tree for the wisdom for the tree of life, and this was only given to you for the direction and the guidance. For you got to go through one first, and never the sand, the roots, and the seed for the Father, for the Son, for the new one, for the eternal, for the Son, for the believing. For John 3:14 was not the circumference of the circle for the pie, the relativity for the earth, for the 111 for the synchronicity, for the time that I write this note, for the say it in the freestyle, for the style, for the free will be, for the pay the price, and never the understanding the refund was not. Give it back for the receipt, for the marks, the history, or the understanding of your tax invasion of paying Caesar his currency, or understanding the currencies that currently see what you don't have the current to see, for the moon and the lunatics to rise, to that would find occasion for the Akanakis or Palladians, or to be an alien to this earth and not of this world, or not another acronym for you can act upon, for the read the Acts, the Bible, for never to understand the basic living earth of the living word and not speak upon with conviction before I'm evicted, or while I was saved to be given for the reason that bind the truth. In the book, there never the need to be saved, like I was sliding in home from grace and a baseball around the ball, the base, this would be the base around, or the ball around the bush, or beating around the bush, or whether Moses was on fire, for Bush was on fire, or you resign for the White House, or be the color for the black of darkness, and ignorant to what's the mind of a matter, for the matter, for the more, for the dark matter, for the it was the anti, or the colliding collider, or changing the nature of the environment, wanted to be God, for the speaking algorithm, for the rhythm is life, for this nature, being told what's spoken and spake, for how much understanding of the truth that it would take, claiming, finding the God particle. What part of the article can you read? For the magazine but never clean enough of this would be the toilet bowl for what you flush, and this is not from my asshole, or the hole of an ass, or a donkey that will travel you across the country you will pass. Like cross country sneaker shoes and Reeboks, and never define a pop blocking over B-boys inside the streets. This is Beat Street, for this is street to beat the streets. This is Rodney King, and over that for the beat the cops, the cop to beat. You with the Billy clubs and dance at the dance floors, like putting Staten under my feet. I don't need to defeat you or build a fence. This is defense, and it's already been done for me, and it's already being invented or invested in me. It was already done. I don't need to have the enemy. I just need to have the inner me. And return to source as a resource would be.
fell for the thought, this is all for the caught up that you're forgetting to say, God. Let the guard down, run around with no shit. What if they found out these hiding hands, feelings anymore? For the splash off, for this emptiness that you can carry on for the latter, for the days that you desire. Cue the view, paying dues. Reckless thoughts and act through me, for the tossing around like I'm in the sea. Wishing for a second, for me to be freed until I come to the realization, for this is splashing in me. Why haven't I always bloomed to bloom, for this to be happy to never adapt this seasons to the beast and never to mark that aberrate, for the orbitals and the line for your Neptune, for your everlasting divinity, for the planetary or polarity. Seasons of the lust of peace, this is fine, at least to come for the over the pressure, for the fury, fishers for never, the either that for the pulling and the galaxy to your gravity, for the desire, for the delicate, or her aura, for the core, and for the mass ejection, for the batting of the tongue, for the holding of the breath, for the deliverance of the reserving of the God. Add to that inception, for the witness and the energy, for the works behind it, that seems to the universe as a whole. Taken away for the end to the cold, for the dead night, for the reality.
The thought, this is all for the caught up that you forgetting to say, God. Let the guard down, run around with no shit. What if they found out these hiding hands, feelings anymore? For the splash off, for this emptiness that you can carry on for the latter, for the days that you desire. Cue the view, paying dues. Reckless thoughts and act through me, for the tossing around like I'm in the sea. Wishing for a second, for me to be freed until I come to the realization, for this is splashing in me. Why haven't I always bloomed for this to be happy enough for the adopt this seasons, the bees and never to mark that aberrate, for the orbitals and the line for your Neptune, for your everlasting divinity, for the planetary or polarity. Seasons of the lust of peace, this is fine, at least to come for the over the pressure, for the fury, fishers for never, the either that for the pulling of the galaxy to your gravity, for the desire, for the delicate, or her aura for the core. I fell for the thought that this is all for the caught up that you're forgetting to say, God. Let the guard down, run around with no shit. What if they found out these hiding hand feelings anymore? For the splash off, for this emptiness that you can carry on for the latter, for the days that you desire. Cue the view, paying dues. Reckless thoughts and act through me, for the tossing around like I'm in the sea. Wishing for a second, for me to be freed until I come to the realization, for this is splashing in me. Why haven't I always bloomed for this to be happy enough for the adopt this seasons, the bees and never to mark that aberrate, for the orbitals and the line for your Neptune, for your everlasting divinity, for the planetary or polarity. Seasons of the lust of peace, this is fine, at least to come for the over the pressure, for the fury, fishers for never, the either that for the pulling of the galaxy into your gravity, for the desire of the delicate, or her aura for the core, and for the mass ejection, for the batting of the tongue, for the holding of the breath, for the deliverance of the reserving of the God. Add to that inception, for the witness and the energy, for the works behind it, that seems to the universe as a whole. Taken away for the end to the cold, for the dead night, for the reality, for the steaming of consciousness, for your membranes and no more. To pertain for this is open in the nature, for your bring back your text here, for this is like what I mean, for the me and you, for the me and double me, for the hope of the universe, of the curve of the pencil. And appear for the indistinct, for this to others to define with the thing, for the many without a destiny, for the other of the purpose, and never have that for the exist, that for the existence, for the text here, you can tap the textbook back, for this is text more than the universe, and you can converse to me. Found it, you opened it, for the you can live for the eternally. That clearing and the God of the universe, the flame for the burning and the burst, and never to find the wind that takes them away. Or if you ever could imagine. Figment your imagination, God get to them no matter what happens in life to be good to people. You can have the wonderful legacy be left behind. Or universal inclusion for what's guaranteed. Wouldn't mind expect that for the living of the one stage and not the offer tonight. This is finding neglect for the calming and the releasing of the observing of the sky for that's no. I know but I never know why. Or sloping down for this is downward for enough for the caution everywhere, for the tending for the memories and the rapid decay. Don't trip over things while I'm looking down for the tie the shoelaces and for the bright enough for the streaking go quietly around like a ninja. My eyes are not looking, therefore don't see the attention for the diverted from looking only at me for the life of the giving off in the moments and I can pin the mist and this spread overhead and overhead and over the gently kissing. The eyes of those overlooking for the left of the residue for the devil to find the residue for the definitely knew. It was my gazing one day. It was a time to restart for the brilliant enough for the white light illuminating in the tree for the blowing and glowing over your body silvering hovering over me like a halo for that you could find the freezing and the disbelief of the light for the altars of you. Squinting in my eyes just now the view for this dimming enough for the see clarity for this to come around with the shimmering of the wings of light for the radiating all around for the figures appear. Tall enough for the similar for the way for the seat for this is superior enough for the both for the this to be the voice of the head of the ivory pot. Crazy as it sounds. My thoughts were kind of loud enough to relax, be calm enough for the reaction, every surprise enough for the told myself for the relaxed distance sparkling through your eyes into a distant planet. Like I'm looking up at the sky view for the lands and trees to feed to find the ocean creature great and small enough for the ground and green, fertile enough for the waters so running clear and no sign of pollution. Abundant clean air, breathe, take a distant noticing and a lack of people for the message relayed from the planet to the human to the restart again for the explaining over your earth and just to soon become the inhabitable with a thriving, they're down with the perish of the storm. For the eyes thought this is the thought for that the red answers for the new vision for the eyes of dark planet for the 10 times the earth size this is due to the returning of the new earth for the system realign caused that great storm for the earth with the redefine this is the vision where was the infant the living in the earth for this is the tell me for the who can I do to help with this answering of the calm voice this anybody need to join the drive for the recall whatever the what you can say that leads to the continuum of the experience for the humankind for the hybrid for the orbits that came from us to the humanoid creation the eye open your ain't just a happy came to that for this to the greater for the ever dimension in life for the fall for the ever to repopulating your planet for the craft that created for you for this wish when I was taking enough across the space you and your telescope get out not enough space for the earth for this to be the paradise and what was lost and now the out of nowhere for the beautiful woman appears you can say that but expected me for the her name was Eve literally you can say the butterfly the butterfly